Hi everyone, Susan Rever here, coming to you live from Regina, Saskatchewan on this really cold winter day here. And today is Wellness Wednesday, so I thought a great topic to talk about is what is really in bottled water, because so many people buy it thinking it's actually better for you than their tap water. So first of all, let's go with not even looking at actually the water itself, but the fact that here in Canada, they're about what, $3.50 Canadian a bottle. That's for the smaller bottles. So the price of bottled water is very, very high. So it's going to drain your bank account. So there's a negative against it as well. Plus, the known fact that how many of them, very few, I think it's less than 30%. We're going to talk about some facts in a minute, actually get recycled. So they end up in the oceans and the landfill. So a very big environmental problem. So that's number two. And of course, most of them, bottled water is that sort of hard plastic reusable water bottles, and they are known for their BPA toxic effects. So not all of them are BPA free. So then you have that issue as well against you. So the fact that it's very expensive, unsustainable environmentally, and not very healthy for you, just the bottles themselves, that'd be, to me, a negative for buying bottled water in the first place. But unfortunately, in today's society, right, we are very, everything has to be convenient. And so a lot of people choose to buy bottled water thinking it's actually better for you. So here are some facts actually on bottled water. The average American drinks about 31 gallons of bottled water a year. That's a lot, actually. And again, less than 30% of these plastic water bottles are actually recycled. So guess where they end up? Again, in the landfills and in the oceans. Bottled water is full of hormone disrupting chemicals. So anti-estrogens and anti-androgens are present in the majority of bottled water. Contamination of bottled water results in human exposure to endocrine disruptors. And a study found that 11 out of 18 bottled water sampled induced estrogen effects in human cancer cell line. So actually that's kind of high. People in the US buy 500,000 bottles of water a week. Ooh, that's a lot. And that's more than enough to circle the globe 5 times. And laboratory tests that were conducted by the Environmental Working Group found popular bottled water brands contain mixtures of 38 different pollutants, including bacteria, fertilizer, Tylenol, and industrial chemicals, some at levels no better than your tap water, and some even contain high levels of cancer-causing chlorination byproducts. So, and in the United States, 20% of all bottled water is either sold as Pepsi's Aquafina or Coke's Dasani. And both brands are bottled, purified municipal tap water, right? So that whole mountain water, glacier water, whatever they try to market it is just a marketing ploy. And Dr. Gina Solomon, a senior scientist actually at the National Resources Defense Council, which is an environmental advocacy group, told the New York Times that there is no reason to believe that bottled water is safer for you than tap water. So hopefully that's other reasons, again, not to be buying bottled water. Okay, so in the U.S., public water is regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency, which requires multiple daily tests for bacteria and makes results available to the public. The Food and Drug Administration, which regulates bottled water, only requires weekly testing and does not share its findings with the EPA or the public. Shocking, right? According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, some bottled water risks include fluoride exposure. And fluoride can occur naturally in source waters used for bottling, or it can also be added. Okay, so what are some of the chemicals found in bottled water? Well, again, they've been linked to abnormal hormone function and an increased risk of cancer, among other illnesses. Most of the convenient-sized beverage bottles sold in the U.S. are made from polyethanol terephthalate. This is referred to as number 1 on the bottom of the bottle for the recycling code. And it's believed to be a relatively safe single-use plastic, but there is evidence that's emerging that PET may leach antimony trioxide, which is a catalyst and flame retardant in PET. In fact, the longer the water is sitting in a PET bottle, the more chemicals released into the water. And warm temperatures also are believed to accelerate this leaching. So, translation, if you tend to leave your water bottle in a hot car over the course of a day. And workers chronologically exposed to antimony trioxide report issues like respiratory and skin irritation, irregular periods, and also miscarriage. And of course, phthalate endocrine disruptors also leach from PET. So, one study found that antimony levels in bottled water increased anywhere from 19 to 90% after 6 months of storage at room temperature. And antimony is considered a carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is part of the World Health Organization. And a 2009 study investigating the estrogen contamination effects of bottled water found widespread contamination. The researchers say part of the estrogen mimickers found in the water originate from compounds leaching from the plastic packaging material. And in 2013, German researchers published a study showing a single bottle of water contained nearly 25,000 different chemicals. The scientists focused on testing bottled water for its capability to interfere with estrogen and androgen receptors in the body. So that's a lot. So basically, when you're buying bottled water, it's wasted money. Bottled water costs about 2,000 times as much as tap water. That's a lot, right? So, I mean, can you imagine paying like $10,000 for a sandwich? So, basically, what you're better off to do is have your water tested, because I know it's going to be different depending from where you guys are, which country, which area, and then choose a filter accordingly. You can buy lots of filters that actually screw right onto the bottom of your tap. You can buy things like even Brita, the containers themselves that are very good at least taking out chlorine and some other contaminants. And it'd be a lot more cost effective. And then, of course, buying an either glass or a food grade stainless steel water bottle and putting your water in there and taking that with you, then versus buying bottled water, right? And how much it's going to cost you. And the sad part of it, if you look at the environmental side, unsettling statistic is Americans use nearly 3 million plastic water bottles every hour, every day, right? And guess where it ends up? Sadly, a lot of it's now ending up in the ocean. So there's more than 5 trillion pieces of plastic already in the oceans. And by 2050, there'll be more plastic in the sea than fish by weight. And that's according to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. So when CNN recently visited Midway, which is an island in the Pacific, the crew was greeted with the stench of rotting birds. And when a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service official dissected the birds, they were full of bottle tops and tiny shards of plastic. So just for that sake alone, you shouldn't be drinking it. Very environmentally friendly. The impact we're having on the environment is incredible. So, and this, of course, the same types of occurrences occur when you report looking at sea creatures like fish and whales. Okay, so we know that fish and shellfish people eat are contaminated with plastic fibers from non-natural clothing and fibers, and the toxins those plastics absorb into the ocean. Okay, so that's really the dirty side of plastic water bottles. And so obviously, a lot of things that you can do to minimize your impact, not only on the environment, but of course your pocketbook as well. And here are some other statistics according to a Pacific Institute report. Producing the bottles for American consumption required the equivalent of more than 17 million barrels of oil, and that does not include the energy for transportation. So bottling water produced more than 2.5 million tons of carbon dioxide. And it takes 3 liters of water to produce 1 liter of bottled water. And then it requires more energy from the factories, right, and required to actually fill the bottles. Then they have to be moved by truck, train, or ship, or air freight to the user. Then it has to be cooled in the grocery stores or in your home refrigerator, and then recover, recycle, or throw away the empty bottles. So estimates suggest that the total amount of energy embedded in our use of bottled water can be as high as the equivalent of filling a plastic bottle 1/4 full with oil. Okay, so that's a lot of energy being consumed to make bottled water. So again, hopefully that's some other factors for you not to be buying your bottled water. So again, final thoughts on bottled water risks. Again, they harbor a lot of toxic chemicals. There's a lot of studies out there showing, again, like that one in Germany, 25,000 chemicals that they contain. And that the longer the water sits in these bottles, or if they're stored under hot or warm conditions, the more chemicals are leached into the water. And of course, you're better to invest in, have your water tested where you are locally, and invest in a good filter that you can use in your house, or buy like a Brita, where at least it can take out chlorine and some other contaminants, and then use the water and put it into either a glass container or a food grade stainless steel container. And you're going to save yourself a lot of money, help the environment, and also, help, the landfills and everything else, right? Utilizing increasing number of refilling stations. There are actually a lot of refilling stations around. Sometimes you can find them at airports. National parks sometimes have them. And that way, that will help you. If you run out of water, you can fill it up, right away and conveniently. And people with severely compromised immune systems often, unfortunately, turn to water bottle or bottled water thinking it's actually better for you. However, of course, this is not the case since many of them contain endocrine disrupting chemicals. So hopefully you guys found value in this video, a lot of information there. I was surprised by some of the statistics myself, and it's kind of sad of what's actually happening. So hopefully you guys rethink about buying bottled water next time. In some cases, I get it that it's required, say, in an emergency situation, say if there was a large earthquake and there's a lot of people who are cut off from water supplies, some cases those bottled water is required to help those people, but all the other times it's not. So if you'd like to comment below, I'd be interested to hear what you think of what you heard from the video. And again, today's Wellness Wednesday, so hopefully you've learned something, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.